Hi everyone, this is Abs from YouMakr. Thanks for tuning in. So if you recall, in the previous video, I gave a brief as to the YouMakr AI and provided some detail on a few key areas like A, how the YouMakr AI understands meaning and context, and B, because the YouMakr AI doesn't copy anything from the internet, there is zero plagiarism risk. Now in this video, I'm going to be a little bit more hands-on and explain how to use the YouMakr AI. So let's begin. When you log into YouMakr, you'll find yourself on the main page, which is this one here, for the AI writing tool. And when you're here, think of the YouMakr AI as your own human writing assistant. You must give it clear and detailed instructions for it to write the content you need. The better the quality of the input, the better the quality of the output. So you have to be very specific and deliberate about the brief that you enter. So in this example, my brief is going to be on the best places for a tourist to visit in London. And that brief is entered into this little white box here on the left-hand side. So I'm writing an essay on best places for a tourist to visit in London. The title of your paper is also important. Make it clear and descriptive. Do not skip the title, otherwise you'll end up with a ton of content that you don't want. So here I'm going to type, for example, things a tourist, sorry, I typed very slowly, has to see when visiting London. And then you have to select one of these three options, either small, medium, or long, and that varies the output that's going to be generated by the YouMakr AI. Very straightforward. So I'm going to click medium, and then I click write more. And as you can see, in a matter of seconds, the YouMakr AI begins writing succinct paragraphs. And immediately it starts talking about, for example, Buckingham Palace, the Houses of Parliament, Tate Modern. And I'm very happy with the first paragraph that's been generated by the AI. And so I simply click write more, and then it takes into consideration what's been written thus far, and it just continues along that trajectory. And here it starts talking about the British Museum. Absolutely wonderful. But if the paragraph that is generated is not exactly what you need, you can click the rewrite button, which is just this button here, and the AI will try a different angle for you. So previously there was a paragraph on the British Library. Now it starts talking about the London Eye, which is the big Ferris wheel on the River Thames. Now an important point here is that if you have to use the rewrite button a few times and you're still not getting the content that you need, it's time to give the AI some more guidance. And this is done most effectively by writing the first sentence of the paragraph yourself. Now, the YouMakr AI is incredibly good at finishing your sentences. So if you need to write about something very specific, start writing a few words about your subject, then just stop mid-sentence. This is how it will understand what you're trying to write about, and it will complete the rest of the paragraph for you. So here, for example, let's just say I wanted a paragraph on the Tower of London. So, Tower of London is one of the city's most popular attractions. And I click write more, and it will take into consideration this sentence, what's been written thus far, including the brief and the title. And then immediately it starts talking about the Tower of London. The history behind this impressive castle-like structure is truly remarkable. There are a lot of great things to see at the Tower of London, such as the famous crown jewels, as well as the Witch's Tower, etc., etc. And that's quite amazing. and then goes on to talk about, for example, the royal armories. Now, that's not really something that I want to include, so I can just go ahead and delete this. Similarly, if you start writing any paragraph by yourself, the AI will continue writing the rest of the paragraph in a far more contextualized way. Now, as we've covered in the previous video, the YouMakr AI takes into account context. So it's very important that you always edit the current paragraph and make sure it contains the exact content that you need before you move on and generate the next one. So here I've got a lovely little paragraph about the Tower of London, and I'm not too keen on this particular sentence, but let's just say now I want to have a paragraph about the British Museum. And so it will take into consideration the first paragraph, the second paragraph on the Tower of London, and then immediately it starts to generate another paragraph. But do you see here, it says the British Museum is another fantastic place to visit for tourists. So it's taken into consideration both meaning and context. Now, what's really important is that you do not click write more over and over again to try and generate your entire paper in this way. The best results are generated when you add your own input or edits after each paragraph. Just like working with a human writing assistant, it's helpful to provide an outline for what the paper should cover. Always have your outline prepared beforehand so you can steer the AI in the manner explained in this video. This will help you get the exact content needed for your assignment. And as you can see, the YouMakr AI tool is extremely powerful and can reduce the time you spend on your paper from weeks to literally minutes. As always, should you have any further questions, please do drop us a message via the help desk, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Happy writing.